Okay, so welcome to the green filing training, e-filing training for the Utah State District Courts. Thank you so much for attending. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you a brief background on what is available in terms of electronic filing in the Utah State Courts. I'm going to cover real quickly just our different account options. Some of those signed up for training already have accounts, but some do not, so we're just going to describe real quickly what the account options are available to you. And then we're going to just get into actually utilizing the green filing website for e-filing documents on your existing cases or filing documents on new cases. So let me start by saying Utah state courts have made e-filing available statewide in all four major case types now. E-filing has been available in civil for over 2 years now, and green filing has been providing service and allowing people to e-file on civil cases for over 2 years as well. E-filing is available in the criminal case type statewide, and just recently in January the courts allowed e-filing to be available on domestic cases, and also just a couple of weeks ago on probate cases. So all four of the major case types now do allow e-filing. You're probably aware that e-filing will become mandatory on civil and domestic cases beginning April 1, and then e-filing will become mandatory on probate cases beginning July 1. But all four case types do allow e-filing at this time. There are some case types within those that aren't quite ready for e-filing. For example, in civil, abstract judgments, judgments by confession, foreign judgments are not yet able to be e-filed. In domestic, foreign domestic decrees are not able to be e-filed. Also, in all case types, sealed documents may not be e-filed, and or any document on a sealed case may not be e-filed. Those things will be accomplished via paper, as you always have. But I do expect in the future that the court will work out processes to allow for e-filing of sealed documents in sealed cases. And we also expect that in the very near future the court will work out processes to allow those other case types, abstract judgments, foreign judgments that I mentioned before, to be e-filed as well. So that's what's available in terms of e-filing. If you're using green filing to e-file, or if you would like to use green file to e-file, we have two different account options that I think you'll be interested in. On our homepage, www.greenfiling.com, you'll see right here listed is our account options. We provide a basic plan which gives you full access to the system. You can view the case information and documents on your cases. There's no cost to any of that under the basic account. The only time you would ever pay is if you actually e-file a document, and then that's $5 per transaction. You can file multiple documents in a single transaction, and it's just one $5 charge. The other account we offer is our Plus account. This is a monthly subscription fee, $29 a month. It offers unlimited e-filing. You get all the features of the basic account. Plus there's some additional features under the Plus account. Probably the biggest one is the ability to add your support staff, your legal secretaries, paralegals, as staff accounts. And what that does is allows them to log in as themselves, e-file documents on your behalf, view cases and documents as though they were the attorney, and also receive email copies of email notifications that are generated when new filings occur on your case. So they're included in those notifications. We do have group rates, so if you're a small or even a larger firm, there's group rates available for Plus accounts where the price decreases. And we also allow a 10% discount if you choose to prepay your account annually, so you can save some money there. We have several promotional codes floating around that will give you 3 months free service. All our plans come with the first month free, but these promo codes will extend that to 3 months, and I'll mention a couple of those before we end the training. So just wanted to cover that real quickly, what's available on green filing in terms of your account options. You can change accounts at any time from basic to Plus or from Plus back to basic. There's no obligations, no contracts. It's month to month, so you can feel comfortable creating an account and not being obligated to anything. To create an account, very easy process. Just come to our website. In the middle of the screen there's a sign up free button. Click that, fill out the form, choose the account option you want, and within 2 minutes you'll have an e-filing account and you can start viewing your cases and e-filing documents on your cases. Okay, so that covers what's available and what the account options are available. So let's go ahead and get started with the actual e-filing training. Through green filing, the first thing we like to start off with is just pointing out our support options. We take a lot of pride in the support we provide our customers and want you to utilize that support. We provide support 24/7 by phone and online. You will see our phone number here on the home page of our website, 801-448-7268. We encourage you to use it. If you have questions or need help, don't hesitate to give us a call. From our homepage of our website, there's also a link here for support. If you click on that link, that's going to take you to our support website. And we have all kinds of articles posted here, not only about how to use our system to e-file, but just about e-filing, sort of frequently asked questions in general, business process questions, things like that. There's a search screen here, field here at the top. You can search this. Just type any keyword in here you want. And you'll see I typed appearance, so how do I file an appearance of counsel pops up. You can click that and read an article about how to do that. Very straightforward. So you can type whatever search items you want in here. On the right-hand side, again, our phone number. You can utilize that at any time. Support@greenfiling.com is our email address. Don't hesitate to email that with questions. Submit a support ticket. This is just a form you can fill out and submit a ticket, and we respond to those as well. Type your email, name, and how we can help you. Also on our help site, we post our system status. You can see now all systems go. Basically, if there are any problems at all with either green filing system or with the court system, we will report those problems on our website. So you just go to system status and or go under system status and view the current status. That information is actually also available within our application, and I'll show you where you can view that when you're within the application as well. So just quickly, we really encourage you to use your support options. We do provide it 24/7 by phone, by email. And I didn't mention there's also a chat support here on our website. So if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a chat, live chat support. If you prefer to talk to somebody that way, just fill this in and click Let's Chat. We'll respond. This is the only support option that may not be there 24/7, but email and phone is 24/7. The live chat support is nice because you get somebody right away and you can just sort of be very direct and ask your questions, and we can respond very directly. So it's a nice way to get support. So those are your support options. Feel free to utilize those whenever you need help. So let's go ahead and get in to the application and start showing you how our application works and how to e-file. So from our home page, at any time, once you've created your account, you can come here and click the login link. Once you click the login link, that's going to direct you to our login screen. And we just utilize your email address and whatever password you've made up for your system. Quickly, I see a question. Can we have a credit card on record to pay for fees? Yes, absolutely. You can save a credit card on your account to pay for fees. In our next release, which should be out by the end of the week, you can actually save multiple credit cards on your account, and you could use one credit card to pay court fees and another credit card to pay your green filing subscription fees. So that'll be a nice feature in our next release here, which should be out by the end of the week. All right. So on our login screen, we're just going to use email address and password, and then there's a forgot password feature here as well. If you ever forget your password, don't hesitate to use that. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. Now I'm logging in as an attorney today, so some things I'm going to mention as we go through the training. I'm going to try to point out what the differences are if I had logged in as a support staff user. But today I'm logging in as an attorney, and I'll point those things out that support staff users might see as I go through. So when you first log in, you're going to land on our dashboard screen. And before I get into the specific functions of the site, let me just give you the overall layout of the website first. We've landed on our dashboard screen, and you'll see here this white box in the middle of the screen. This is where you're going to see the main content of the site. So as you navigate around the site, this is where you'll see the information change. The dashboard gives you some quick tips on how to get started, some quick links to different help articles. And again, this is where our system status is posted within the application. So if you're ever curious about the status of our system, you can just come to Dashboard and see this current status. On the upper left-hand side, we have sort of our main navigation links: e-filing, settings, support, and reports. And right now we're in the e-filing section, and this is where you're going to spend most of your time viewing your cases and documents and filing documents on existing cases or filing new cases. So when we're in the e-filing section, then down the left-hand side we have all our e-filing related links. File a new case, create a new filing, screen where we can view all the statuses of our filings, a tab where copies of any court-generated notification is going to be saved, and then we have what we call our recent case list. This is a list of cases I've been most frequently interacting with, and so those display over here. And then a search field for your cases as well. And then again, our main content area. Now if I switch to settings, which is another section of the site, this has links here having to do with your account settings. So your account information, change password, manage users. If you're a Plus account or a group account, you have the ability to add staff or additional attorneys using the Manage Users screen, payment settings, and user preferences. So we'll talk more about these as we go through the training. But you can see as I switch from e-filing to settings, then my sub-navigation for settings is over here on the left. Support is just a link back out to our support website. And reports, again, we click on there. We have 4 different reports available that you can run at any time. We'll do a couple of samples of those as we go through. So just overall, though, you have your main navigation at the top left, and then your sub-navigation down the left-hand side, depending on what area you're in. On the top right, we just have logged in username, quick link to your account settings, and a logout link. This feature here is, we call it our send invite, which is just gives you the ability to send a pre-formatted email to colleagues, other attorneys, maybe opposing counsel, which invites them to begin participating in e-filing. So in domestic and civil cases, you know, that's pretty much everybody should be participating by April 1, but in criminal or probate cases, maybe not, so you could still send invites. And I'm sure there will be some people even after April 1 that aren't yet participating. Maybe they just haven't had a need to file a document. So, but this send invite just allows you to send them a pre-formatted email. Looks like this, just inviting them to participate in e-filing. If this is opposing counsel, it's nice because then when you e-file, they're going to be served electronically. When anybody e-files a document on a case, all attorneys of record who are signed up for e-file are served electronically. So if you have opposing counsel who's not signed up for e-filing, this gives them an opportunity to sign up for one of our free basic accounts. That opts them into electronic service, and then they would be served electronically. So just a feature we like to point out is available for you to use. We have seen some good success with people using that and then opposing counsel signing up. All right. And then again, just the section here in the center that displays your content information. So that is the overall layout of the system. Let's go ahead now and start showing you some of the specific functions of the system. Before I do that, I have a quick question. I have a question here about certificates of mailing. When do we need to mail paper copies? I'll talk a little bit about that as we go through e-filing. I wouldn't I wouldn't do anything differently with your certificates of service or mailing than you do today. You may indicate that somebody was served by e-filing or by electronic service through e-filing on your certificate. When are we required to begin filing electronically in criminal cases in Utah County? I don't believe criminal cases will ever be required for e-filing, but you know, right now it's optional, and I don't believe criminal will ever be mandatory for e-filing. All right. So one of the first things you're going to do when you access the system is, you're going to start adding cases to your account. So on the left-hand side, we have our recent case list. These are cases that I've already added to my account. As an attorney, the first time you log in, you may see that we've pre-populated here some cases of yours. What we do actually is we will query all the other cases in our system that other attorneys have added, and then if we see that you're an attorney of record on those, then we'll add those cases to your recent case list. If you don't see your case here though, then all you have to do is add it yourself, and it's a very easy process. Right under your recent case list, there's an Add a Case link. You just click that link, and it's going to take you to a dialog here that just asks you to indicate the court you're adding the case from, or the court your case is in. So I'll select Salt Lake, and then a case number. So you're just going to enter your court and case number. Optionally, you can also enter the party name, a party name on the case. That'll help our query retrieve the case a little quicker, but it's not required. And then you're just going to click Add Case. Once you click Add Case, that will retrieve the case from our system. Will reach in and retrieve the case from the court system and then display it back to you within Green Filing. I've just made up this case number, so this won't work, but what you'll see is as soon as you click Add Case, you're going to be redirected to a screen that looks like this. You'll see the case title at the top of the screen here. You'll see the case summary information, and then you'll see the full docket on the case. Now, a couple things to point out here. If you're an attorney of record, then you see all of this information, including the full docket on the case. If you are not an attorney of record on the case, then all you will see is the case summary information. The court restricts us as an e-filing service provider to only show attorneys of record the full docket. So only if you're an attorney of record will you see the full docket on a case. Now, you're able to still pull up a case if you're not an attorney of record and see this case summary information. And then as soon as you e-file a document on the case that makes you an attorney of record, then you'll be able to see the full docket. So as an example, let's say I'm representing a defendant who has not yet answered on the case. So I could pull up the case here. That allows me to e-file on it. Then as soon as I e-file on the case, my answer, that will automatically make me an attorney of record on the case. As soon as that answer is accepted, then I'll be able to view the full docket on the case. When you can see the full docket, where the document is available for viewing electronically, you'll see a green link next to it. So you would just click that link, and that'll pull up the document so that you can see it. So I've clicked that complaint link, and I can see the document. There is no additional charge for viewing documents in Green Filing. That's just part of the service. The only catch is you must be an attorney of record on the case. A couple things to point out about documents that you see that are e-filed. You'll notice on this document, this is a new complaint. This was e-filed in the state courts. There's no file stamp on the document. The court does not place any physical file stamp on the document when they're e-filed. So that's something you'll notice. And the other thing you'll notice on a new complaint is this was e-filed. They didn't have a case number when they e-filed it, so they couldn't put that on here. But the case does now have a case number. It's just not going to display on the complaint. So if you were to print this out, you'd probably want to write the case number on the document. So sort of some quirks about e-filing where the court has chosen not to put a physical file stamp on the document, and then you'll see documents that don't contain case numbers. Doesn't mean they weren't filed on that case, just means that maybe the case number wasn't known before they actually filed. Going back to the case view, the other thing I want to point out here is right next to the case number, there's a View Service List link. Actually, let me run one of these from our live site. So I'm going to switch over here to our live site. I'm going to find a good example of a case that has a fair amount of attorneys on it. Well, this one has a couple. Right next to the case number, there's a View Service List link. You can click that link, and what this does is it actually retrieves a report from the court, shows you all the attorneys of record on the case, and whether or not they're signed up for e-filing. So in this case, there's just 2 attorneys, and yes, both of them are signed up for e-filing. What this tells you is if you were to e-file a document on this case, both of those attorneys would be served electronically. If either one of these guys had a no next to their name, that would mean that they're not signed up for e-filing, and it means that you would still have to serve them by traditional means or by paper. Again, with with civil and domestic cases, as of April 1, we should see the vast majority of attorneys signed up, so it would be rare that you would have to serve somebody by paper. But it is possible there will be people out there who have not yet created their e-filing accounts, and you would have to serve them by paper. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we do an e-filing example. But at any time, if you're viewing a case, this View Service List link is available. Let's jump back to our demo site. A couple of last things to point out about viewing cases. On the upper right-hand corner, there's a last updated date. This is a little yellow box, displays the last date and time that Green Filing has retrieved information from the court about this case. Now, there are triggers in our system that cause us to go out and requery the court and get the latest information so that you can see that information in our system. If you're ever looking at a case, though, and this appears as though maybe it's not quite up to date, take a look at this last updated date, and if that seems to be a date in the past, then right above it there's a refresh link. By clicking that refresh link, it'll force our system to go out and requery the court for the latest information and then update it on your screen. So just something to keep an eye on if you're not sure you have the latest information. Now, as we added cases, you see I have several cases added here. I used the add a case process to add all of them. You'll see that our recent case list has grown. It displays your 10 most active or most frequently interacted with cases. And then below that's a View All link. If you click that link, it's going to show you all the cases that you've added to your account. And then you can sort them by column, look at them in different ways. On the right-hand side, you'll also see a delete link. If you want to remove it from your account, you can just click that delete link. There's also another service list link, another link that allows you to run that service list if you wanted to. And there's an edit link. If you click this edit link, this opens a dialog, and we just have some things you can customize about the case. So for example, if you wanted to give it a custom description or custom name, you could type that in here. You can see on my left-hand side, I have a case here, I named it the Acree case. That's what that allows you to do. I would just open up this case here, and I can give it whatever name I want. So if you have a way that you like to call cases, you can just give them your own name. The next field here, case importance. There's a slider here. If the higher you set this case importance, the more likely it will display on your recent case list. If you just always want it to be on your recent case list, then there's a star here. You just click that star, and then that will make it stick to your recent case list at all times. So just a way to make it easy to find a case that you're interacting with a lot. This edit alert box, this is an option that allows you to turn off any email notifications coming from Green Filing to you about new filings on the case. We see this gets used a lot in one particular instance. That is, if you're representing a party that has been dismissed from a case, when other people e-file on the case, the court generates a notification to all the attorneys of record on the case. And they don't make any distinction whether or not you're the attorney for a dismissed party or not. So they would send that to you no matter what. By turning this edit alert to do not send emails, this would prevent Green Filing from sending you any alerts on that case. So you can limit the number of emails you get about new filings on a case. Like I said, the court doesn't make any distinction about dismissed parties and whether you're attorney of record. They send them to all attorneys of record on the case. But here you can turn off Green Filing emails at least. You'll understand that a little bit more as I show you the filing process and what notifications are generated after we submit them. This last field here, client matter number, you can type your own internal case numbers or names in here. What that does is save that number along with the case in our system. Then anytime you e-file on the case, we track that number with the case, and then you can generate reports out of our system that display your own internal client matter numbers along with the filings and whatever court filing fees might have been charged. So you can use those reports to bill back filing fees to clients, to reconcile credit card statements, things of that nature. We'll show you what that looks like. So you have those edit options. And then finally, once you've got a lot of cases listed, sometimes maybe a little tougher to pull up the one you're looking for. So we have this little search field here. If you click in this search field right below the recent case list, this will give you a drop down of all your cases. But the nice thing about this is if you start typing a case number, then we just filter that down to show you only cases with that number, and you can just select it. You can even type a name here. So if you start typing a CRE, a party name, then we'll show you that case, and you can just select it and pull it up. So I believe that covers adding and viewing cases. The major points there: to add case, just click this Add a Case link. You're going to get the dialog to enter your court and case number. You click Add Case. We retrieve it and display it to you. You'll see the full case as long as you're an attorney of record on the case, and you'll be able to view the documents as long as you're an attorney of record on the case. Even if you're not an attorney of record, you're still able to view the case summary and e-file on the case. You also have the service list option to view that information. So that's probably the first thing you're going to do when you access your green filing account, is start adding your cases and interacting with those. The next thing you're going to probably do is actually e-file on one of your existing cases, or possibly e-file a new case or a new complaint. What I'd like to do is move forward and just demonstrate e-filing a new document on an existing case. We've got a couple questions before I do that. When we add a matter number with the report we get, will the report we get show the fees we have paid on the matter? Yes, it will, and I'll show you that report before the end of the training. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do a new filing on an existing case. We're going to e-file a new pleading on an existing case. There's two ways to launch into that process using green filing. The first way is if you're actually viewing your case, then in the upper right-hand corner you'll see a File Document link. If you click that link, it's going to take you to our new filing screen, and the first step with a new filing is always to indicate the case you're filing on. Since you clicked that File Document link from the View Case screen, we've just assumed that that's the case you want to file on, and we've defaulted that information in here. The second option is on the left-hand side, you just click Create New Filing, and that'll take you to the same screen. We just don't assume we know what case you're going to file on. So we just give you a drop down here, and this is all your cases. Again, this is filterable by case number or name, so you could start typing something in here to find it quickly. Once you've selected your case, there's a link here to change case. If you've selected the wrong one, you just click it and select the correct one. And then there's another service list link here, so if you wanted to check this quickly before you file your document, you can click that. So step one of filing a new document on an existing case is always to say, what case am I filing it on? Now, our new filing screen is designed to be single screen. This will update dynamically as you complete the screen. So you'll see things change as we start to interact with the screen. The second step to filing our document is going to be to actually add and attach those documents to this filing. To do that, we have to describe the documents using this document type and description field, and then we have to browse out to our computer and select the document to upload. So we'll go ahead and do that. Our document type, this is a list of all the document types that the court has provided us that are allowed to be used for e-filing. If you search through here, you're going to notice pretty much everything under the sun is in here. But if you can't find what it is you're filing, there is an option of Other. So you're going to look through here, try to find the document type that most closely matches whatever the document is you're filing. If you can't find anything that's exactly, then you can use this option of Other. For my example, I'm going to do a motion. And This field is also filterable, so if I start typing motion in this field up here, then we just display all the document types with the word motion in it. For this example, I'll keep it simple. I'm just going to do a regular motion. And then our description field is a field where you're going to type the rest of the title to the document. So motion, I'll do a motion to continue. So all I'm going to do here is type to continue. So the full title of my document is motion to continue. You don't need to retype motion in your description field. And then I'm going to browse out, select the document that I need to file, and upload it. Now a couple points here to make before I select my document to file. First, when you're preparing your document, you want to sign it using an electronic signature. Electronic signatures are very simple. It's just a /s/ with the attorney name on the signature line. And let me just quickly show you what that looks like. So I've just brought up my sample pleading here. I'm going to scroll down to the signature line, and this is what your electronic signature is going to look like. So before you file your document, you're just going to type /s/ with the attorney's name on the signature line. The next thing you're going to want to do is convert your document to PDF. Most document types are required to be e-filed as PDF documents. So you're going to prepare your document, sign it with /s/, and then convert it to PDF. Then you'll be able to select your PDF to attach and upload it as you're filing. There are some document types that the court requires to be filed in rich text format, or RTF. Those are typically documents that require the judge or the clerk's signature. So things like a proposed order, a proposed judgment, a default certificate, those would be required to be e-filed as an RTF, or rich text format. If you're using modern versions of Word or WordPerfect, it's very easy to create a rich text format document. It's just a file, save as, and then for your document type, you'll select rich text format. For my motion, it's going to be required a PDF, so I'm just going to select my motion here, and then click open. You'll see the path to the motion is here, and I'm going to click add and upload. So I've uploaded my motion to continue. You see my document is here. I can click this link to actually view the document, make sure it was the right one. Now you can e-file multiple documents in a single transaction. So if I had a memo that went along with this motion, I could select the document type of memo, type a title to motion to continue, browse out and select my memo. This will also be a PDF, and add and upload that. And we can continue with this. Let's say we had an exhibit to be filed with our motion and memo. For exhibits, they want you to use the document type of other. Then you could call this something like Exhibit A to motion, and then you can browse out and select your exhibit. Now exhibits can be uploaded separately like I've done here, but they could also be combined with the motion or the memo so that they're just one document together. So you can do it either way, upload them together in one document or upload them separately. Something else to point out with exhibits is there is a file size limitation that's in place by the court. That is 7 megabyte per single filing, or per file. So if you have an exhibit that maybe you've scanned and it's a 10 megabyte exhibit, we need to file that. We need to get that down to less than 7 megabyte. One option to do that is to split it in parts. So you could say, here's 2 separate files that are 5 megabyte each, and then they could be uploaded separately. Exhibit A, part 1 of 2, Exhibit A, part 2 of 2. So it's something to keep in mind. Any single file cannot be larger than 7 megabyte. And our system will prompt you. If it's larger, it won't let you try to file it. So it'll prompt you to fix it before you can file. The other thing we can do here is we can file a proposed order to go along with our motion. So we're going to select Order Proposed. I'll type to continue. Now I'm going to browse out. So a proposed order is one of those document types that's required to be e-filed in a rich text format. So you can see I have an order here, and you can see type rich text format. I've already saved it in RTF. So I'm going to select that and add and upload that. So you can upload as many documents as you need to make up your transaction. So in this, a good sort of sample of motion and memo with an exhibit and a proposed order. Again, under the basic account, this results in one $5 charge. It's not $5 per document, so something to keep in mind. The next section here is for filing fees. Some document types have a court filing fee associated with them, and if they did, you'd see a credit card form pop up here. And you would simply input your credit card to submit it with your filing to pay the filing fee. You have the option when this pops up to use a card on file with green filing, so you don't have to re-enter it every time, or input a new card. We'll do an example of one that has a filing fee. The next step is for additional info, or what we call additional info. On this step, we have all our documents listed, and for the court requires that we collect some additional info depending on the document type. So in this example, we have a motion, and for a motion, the court requires that that you indicate the party you're filing the motion on behalf of. So you see a drop down here. It has all the parties listed, and you would just select the party you're filing this motion for. So I'll select a party. Now if you're filing the motion for multiple parties, you just click Add Party, and you can select additional parties. This red X here, this is not an indication of an error. It's just an opportunity to delete the party you just selected. For the memo, the exhibit, and the order, no additional information is required. So now we just move on to the final step, which is to review and submit our filing. We have a filing attorney indicated here. Now I'm logged in as an attorney, so this defaults to my name. If I were logged in as a support staff person, there would be a drop down here, and it would list the attorneys that you're able to e-file on behalf of. So you'd simply select that attorney and to submit your document. If you are e-filing and you've defined multiple attorneys in the header of your document that are filing it, you can use this Add Additional Attorney link. This actually just gives you the ability to select additional attorneys that you're filing on behalf of. So I'm submitting this document on behalf of this attorney now and this attorney. Again, this red X is just an opportunity to remove that attorney. The created by is just a logged in username. The clerk memo field is obsolete. The court does not want anybody using this field anymore. It used to be you could type a note in here, and that would get submitted to the court along with your filing, and the clerk had the opportunity to review this note as they were processing your filing. The court is now auto-accepting almost all filings, so nobody is looking at this note. So don't use it, and in the next release you'll see this has been removed from our system. And finally, the client matter number is where you can input your own internal case number will display. In this case, we've already just saved a number along with this case, so it's defaulted here. If you hadn't saved one, you could type whatever you want to in here. Again, this will display on those reports. And then the final step is just to say, I verified all the information above is correct, and then we're going to click Sign and File. So at this point, we've packaged up your filing. We've submitted it to the court, and they've given us a status back right away indicating the filing is pending, and you'll see it listed here on your filing status screen as pending. Now I have some other test filings in here that we were doing some tests with that say processing, so you likely wouldn't ever see a filing that says processing, but they're on my screen, and I see mine here as pending. Now there's a variety of things that happens after this that I'll explain, but let me answer a couple quick questions. We had a question, does green filing indicate the amount of the filing fee? You know what, we do not display the amount of the filing fee in our interface when you file. The reason we don't is because the court system automatically determines what the filing fee is, and it's possible that in that determination it's different than what we might display. So we don't want to provide any sort of preconceived notion of what the filing fee is going to be when the court system determines that. When the filing is accepted, you do get an email receipt back, and it tells you exactly how much was charged to the card. The filing fees are the standard filing fees that you'll see on the civil cover sheet, for example, but there are instances where the court may not collect a fee at all, or they may collect a fee when we weren't aware of exactly what it would be. I want to mention what else happens now that we've submitted our filing. When the court receives the filing, they're going to process it in. Within a few minutes, the filing will be accepted, and you're going to receive an email indicating the filing was accepted. So I'm going to pull up a sample email here. This is just a sample email of an accepted filing. You can see you're going to get this email back. It'll say accepted filing, and it just has the details about the filing. So you'll receive this email for all of your filings. Now, it is possible that a filing is rejected. Normally, well, this is rare, but when it does occur, it's normally for some technical issue. A common reason we see rejections is an invalid credit card, or a credit card was submitted that the court wasn't able to charge for the filing fee. If you did get a rejected email, you get an email, or a rejected filing, you would get an email on that as well. It'll indicate filing rejected, and then you'll see there's a reason for the rejection. So when you get this email, all you have to do is click on this filing ID. That will open the filing back up in our system, make whatever corrections are necessary, and then you can resubmit it. So the court processes your filing in. You're going to get an accepted or rejected email. The other thing that they do is they send an email to all the attorneys of record on the case indicating that a new filing has occurred. And as the filer, you'll receive this email as well. That is an email generated by the court and sent directly to the attorneys. Green filing has nothing to do with that. There's one sort of major flaw with their email, which is that it does not provide a link to the document or the document attached that was filed. They sort of expect that you're going to go find that on your own. So what green filing does is we generate a second email, and we send that out to all the attorneys of record that are signed up for green filing, and we send it to the support staff for that attorney. And it looks like this. It's the service notification email. Basically just tells you a new filing has occurred on this case, and it gives you, by default, it gives you a button here to click to actually view the documents in our system. If I were to click this button, it's going to direct me to the notifications screen in our system, which looks like this, and you're going to get the details about the filing. So just to reiterate that, I'm going to click this View Document button. That'll direct you to the notifications screen in our system. Tells you the details about the filing. Gives you a link to actually view the document that was filed. And also, whoops, didn't mean to click that. Go back. And also shows you a copy of the email that the court generated. Now this email that the court generated can be important because on it, it will tell you who was served electronically and who was not. So on this case, this attorney was served electronically and this attorney was not. These are parties on the case, so they would always have to be served traditionally. So this is where you can find out who was served electronically and who was not after you filed the document. That View Service List link that we discussed before is where you would find out who's going to be e-served before you file the document. So that's one option. You'll receive this email and you just click the View Document link and you can see your documents. There is a user preference in our system that allows you to receive this same email, which we see here, service notification. It still contains this View Document link, but also allows you to opt in to receiving those documents as attachments to the email. So you can set that in your user preferences. There's an option where you can say, attach documents to my service notification emails, and we'll show you where that's at. But this is just a nice thing. It gives you quick access to the documents instead of having to click the View Document button and go into our system. So that is e-filing on an existing case. We've e-filed our document. The court processes it in. It's accepted or rejected, most of the time accepted. Then notification emails go out to all the attorneys of record on the case. If the attorneys are signed up for e-filing, electronic service is accomplished electronically. If they are not signed up for e-filing, then you would have to serve them by traditional means. So quickly, what I want to do is just another new filing on an existing case to show you how fast the process can actually be. We were explaining a lot in that first attempt, and so it kind of took a while. But if I'm going to go through this again, I'm going to do a demand for jury trial because I know that has a filing fee associated with it. So I'm going to add and upload that. I've selected my case. I've selected my document. For demand for jury, I have a filing fee, so I get a credit card form. I'm going to use the card on file. And then no additional info required. Review and submit. I already got my client matter number in there, so I just verify all is good. Sign and file. So you can see the process can be very fast once you've used it a couple times and you know what you're doing. If you got your documents prepared, just log in, and within seconds you can have your document filed. Within minutes, you're going to have that email back indicating it was accepted, and then the document will be fully docketed and made available in the court system for not only yourself but anybody else who's viewing the case on e-filing or on Exchange. All right, I have a question pop up. If the attorneys are signed up for e-filing and we do not send a hard copy, are we allowed to just e-sign the attorney's name, or do we have to have an actual signature on the pleading? You can utilize electronic signatures for all the attorneys. This can be done even for like orders approved to form or for stipulations. As long as there is a process in place that allows documents to, or allows you to sign e-filings for other attorneys. In fact, let me pull up, oops, I'm going to pull up the court's website. On the court's website, utcourts.gov/e-filing, there is a document called the e-filing guide, and there's also a frequently asked questions. If you click on, I believe it's in the frequently asked questions document. You see a PDF here. Oh no, this is going to be in the, oops, in the guide. So where's the guide? Here's the guide. So if you click here, and this actually opened right up to the section I needed to. So here's an example of what your electronic signatures are looking like, right? But you can also sign for other filers, and you can do that using /s/ other filer name, signed by filer name with permission of other filer name. So for things like orders approved to form or for stipulations, you're allowed to sign them like this for other attorneys. You just have to make sure you have their permission. Some people do that by actually having them sign the physical document, and then they use the /s/ on the document they're going to file. Or, you know, some people get permission just via email. So that's up to you as attorneys to figure out what you're most comfortable with. But the procedures for e-filing do allow you to sign for other attorneys. I believe we had another question. Let me just answer that real quickly. How many documents can be filed as part of a single transaction? It's actually unlimited. The only limitation is that there is a total file size for the entire transaction. The court won't allow you to file more than 15 megabyte worth of documents in a single transaction. So you could file 100 documents as long as they all add up to less than 15 megabyte. But if you have larger documents you're trying to file, then you might have to submit those in multiple transactions because of the file size limitation. All right, so in the interest of time, I'm going to go ahead and move on to filing a new case. So we've done an example of filing a new document on an existing case. Now let's do filing a new case. So I'm going to click on File New Case on the upper left-hand side. And this will take you to a screen that, that looks very similar to our Create New Filing on an existing case screen, but just some different data that we have to fill out. This screen, by the way, replaces the civil cover sheet. So there's no reason to file a civil cover sheet when you're e-filing a new case, a new complaint, or a new petition. You just are filling out this form and then uploading your complaint. So the first step to file a new case is to select the court you want to file in. So I'll do Salt Lake. The next step is to choose your case type, and this is a list of all the civil, domestic, and probate case types. So you're just going to select the case type that you want to file. I'll just keep this simple and select a contracts case. Now the next step, you're going to add your documents just like we did on the other examples we did. we've gone ahead and defaulted the document type to complaint, assuming that that's what you're going to file in terms of filing a new case, but you could change this if you wanted. For the description, you may or may not have an additional description. I'm just going to leave mine blank. And then I'm going to browse out and select my PDF document for my complaint, and then add and upload. Now you can file multiple documents at the time of your complaint. We actually recommend that you don't for one very simple reason, and that is when you e-file the documents right now, you don't have a case number. So it's nice to file your complaint. That will be accepted. Once it is, you get an email back indicating what the case number is, and then you can put that case number on the rest of your documents and e-file those in a separate transaction. So we do recommend doing that, but you could, if you wanted to, e-file other documents at this time. For now, I'm just going to stick with the complaint. And the next section here, just like on the civil cover sheet, asks you to indicate who the parties are on the case. So we give you the opportunity to enter a plaintiff and a defendant. Plaintiff can be an individual or a business. I'll just keep it, well, I'll do business. And then I'll just make up a business name. And then for each party we enter, there is this drop down here for optional fields. This is where things like address, phone number can be input. These are not required fields only because the court knows that you may not always have the address information for a party, but if you do have it, they strongly encourage you enter it. So you can just expand out these optional fields and enter that information. For my defendant, I'll just keep that as an individual. I'll just call him Doug Smith, first and last name. And again, the optional fields, you can fill those out. If you have multiple plaintiffs or multiple defendants, you are able to add those. You just click Add Party. Let's say I had another defendant, so I want to make sure I select my role and change that to defendant, and then I can just type a name in here. So I got one plaintiff and two defendants. Now you can add as many parties as you need to here, but I'll just stick with one plaintiff and two defendants. So the next section here is for the complaint amount or claim amount. This is where you can enter whatever that amount is you're going after in your complaint. So I can just enter a $10,000 in there if that's what I'm going after. Or if you check this box to the right, if your amount is unspecified, you don't have a specified amount, you just check this box indicating your amount's unspecified. For this example, I'll just keep in 10,000 or 100,000. The next field is discovery tier. You can leave this as default. What that does is just submits the case using the default discovery tier for that claim amount. So if it's 0 to 50,000, that's tier 1, 50 to 300, tier 2, 300 above is tier 3. An unspecified case would also be tier 3. So you can leave that as default, or you can just specifically select the tier that you want. Whoops. Well, I'll just check that now. Our jury, this checkbox here is for a jury demand. If you are requesting a jury demand in your complaint, you're going to want to check this box. What that does is make sure that the court collects the filing fee for your jury demand as well. So obviously with the new complaint, there's going to be a filing fee. So we have our credit card form pop up here. You can say use card on file. We do ask you to input your security code or your CV code for the credit card. It's just an extra security precaution on our part so that you can submit this document. For an additional, for a complaint, no additional info required. And now we're just at the bottom of the screen again for our filing, review, and submit. Filing attorney, created by, memo, client matter number. I can go ahead and stick a number in here if I want. And then verify all is true and correct. And then sign and file. So at this point, we've packaged that up. We've sent it to the court. Within a few minutes, the court's going to process it through the system, and they're going to generate an email back to you indicating it was either accepted or rejected. And if it was accepted, this is what your email is going to look like. So you're going to see accepted filing. You're going to see your documents that you filed. You're going to see your filing has a case number assigned to it. You'll see that there's a judge assigned to the case. And then you'll see what the filing fee was that they charged. So this filing fee here is going to be, this also is considered your receipt for having paid that filing fee. Okay, I got a couple questions, or just one question actually. For a probate case, do we just leave the space for defendant blank? Actually, in a probate case, what you're going to see happen is those will default to petitioner respondent. Most probate cases will require, well, some probate cases just require one party, the petitioner. Some probate cases require a petitioner and a respondent, or a petitioner and a decedent, or a petitioner and an incapacitated person. And in those cases, you would select the appropriate role. So let me just show you that real quick. I'm going to do File New Case. And if I select my court and a probate case type, let's see. You know what? In our demo system, it doesn't look like we have the probate case types, but it doesn't really matter. Down here under your party roles, you're going to see there's options for things like heir, or incapacitated person, or a minor, or a decedent, or a conservator. So you're going to make sure you select the appropriate roles there and add the parties if that case type requires it. Okay, any other questions on filing a new case? I think I've covered the questions asked so far. Okay, so we're an hour into the session, and I just want to point out that the things that I've shown you so far are the core features of e-filing and the e-filing application. That is, viewing your cases in your documents, e-filing new documents on existing cases, e-filing new cases, and then also sort of the notification process of the emails that get generated in electronic service, things of that nature. Those are the core features of the application. So we've covered those things in this first hour here. If you don't have time to stay on, please feel free to leave the session. There are a few other things that I would like to show you. So if you can stay on, please do, and we can show you those things. Also, I can answer additional questions. I just had another one pop up. In a probate case, is it not uncommon for the heirs to waive notice? In this case, do we need to list their heirs in any event? You know what, I'm not sure that I can answer that question appropriately right now. I do know that certain case types in probate require that certain parties be defined and certain procedures be followed. But I'm not familiar enough with probate cases at this moment to be able to answer that question. So we can take that offline, and I'd be happy to dig up the answer for you. You can feel free to send me an email, george@greenfiling.com, or send our support at greenfiling.com an email. All right, so let me show you a few other things about our system here. One thing I want to show you is this filing status screen. If you come at any time, if you're navigating around the system, you'll see there's a filing status tab here on the left-hand side. The filing status screen is going to show you a list of all your filings and indicate what the current status is of them. And this is our demo system, so we do see some filings here in draft that I've created and whatnot. For new cases, once a filing is accepted, you'll always see a case number display here. In our demo system, the court's not actually assigning a case number, so that's why it doesn't display. But you can always come to the screen and see the status of filings. One common question we get is this lead document column here. We just list the lead document of your transaction in this column. All the documents in this transaction were accepted. It'll just show the motion. You can see that example I did earlier. It just says motion to continue, and it says the status is accepted. Well, if I open this filing, all the documents are listed here. So that means that all the documents have been accepted. And then the other thing that you'll be able to see is down at the bottom of the screen, there's we keep a log of all the messages about a filing. Actually, let me show you what this looks like in our live system. So once you file a document, I'm going into our live system here, which will take a moment to load up. But once you file a document, you can open it at any time and sort of view this transaction log that has occurred as your filing was processed. So as soon as my screen loads up here, I'll show you what one of those looks like. So I'm going to open up this satisfaction of judgment filing. You can see if I go down to the bottom of the screen, a couple things to point out. One, if your filing has been received by the court, it will always be assigned this number here, 185, or a number here, the clerk reference number. If your filing has this number, that means the court has received your filing and is processing it. And the other thing you'll see is under filing messages for this filing, we just kind of track a log of things that occurred. So the date and time it was submitted, date and time it was accepted, the date and time the court generated notifications about the filing, and you can click on those and see what those look like. And then finally, a receipt for the filing. Now this is the receipt the court generates and sends back to us. We store on your account along with the filing. It's their official receipt that the document's been filed. It's a very unofficial looking official receipt, I guess you could say. But you can view this and you can actually print it if you want. We believe that the email receipt you receive from us is sufficient as well. So at any time you can view that information from the filing status screen. A couple other things from the filing status screen you can do is on the upper right hand side there's a filter filings search box. You can look at filings in different ways. So for example, if I start typing motion in here, I can say show me all the filings that I've submitted that contain the word motion, and it will just display them to you. You could also say show me all the filings on that ACRI case, and it would show you all the filings submitted on that ACRI case. So just some different ways to filter your filings that you've submitted electronically. Also, there's a tab here called Notifications. If you click on that tab, what we do is we store under your Notifications tab a copy of every notification the court has generated and sent to you. So you'll see them listed here, and you can view them, just select any one of them and view them. We are required to store them here under your account as a way of serving you by electronic service. You get the email, but they're also here under your Notifications tab. So you can go there at any time and view any of your notifications. Going into the settings section, most of this is self-explanatory. We can manage account settings, password. What I want to point out is two things. One, the Manage Users screen. On the Manage Users screen, under a group account or a plus account, you can come in here and you can add additional attorneys. So you could come in here and say add attorney, just type in their bar ID and email, select the account level they want, and add attorneys to your account. Or you can click add support staff. So if you had a paralegal or a legal secretary you wanted to give access to the system and file on your behalf, you can click add support staff, type in their name and email, and just click add support. If you've already got support staff added, then you can authorize them to file on your behalf. So when I select my name here, these two people here are authorized to file on my behalf. So I could deselect them and they would no longer be authorized to file. Just click Update Authorizations and confirm. Or I could say, okay, now I want Jane and George to be able to file for me, and I click Update Authorizations and Authorize. So as a group account, you might see multiple attorneys and multiple support staff here. As a single user account, it might be just your name, but you might still have multiple support staff. And the last screen I want to show you is this User Preferences screen, or the last settings screen. And on this screen, there's a number of user preferences. Most of these are pretty self-explanatory, but what I'd like you all to do when you use the system is come in and review these and make sure you set them to what you want, especially these email notification options. The one where you attach documents to your notification emails is here. You can say attach to my emails or just send me links. So I encourage you to check those out. For support staff, there's actually one other option that displays here called Service Notifications. And what that does is allow you as a support staff user to indicate what you want to receive email notifications on. Do you want to receive email notifications on your cases only? That's the first option, which means I only want emails notifications on new filings on cases that I've added into my green filing account. That gives you a way to completely control what you're notified about. The other option is to say I want to receive email notifications on my authorizing attorney's cases. And what that means is I want to receive those emails for any case where my attorney is the attorney of record or where my attorney has added the case to their account. So that would make sure that you as a support staff person is made aware of any filings that occur on the attorney's account. I see I have some questions. I'm going to cover just one more section here, and then I'll answer the questions. The last thing I want to cover is this Reports tab. If you click on Reports, there's a number of reports you can run here. The one that gets used most frequently is this Filing Activity and Fees report. This allows you to run a report for your account or for your firm, and you can do it for your current billing period, or you can enter specific dates. You can enter any date range. I'm just going to select a big date range here to make sure I get a good amount of stuff. And then we'll do an end date and run report. What this does is this actually generates a report. It's going to display to you all the filings that have been submitted on whatever date range you selected. And then if there are any if you have been tracking your client matter number along with the filings, that would display here in this column. Looks like this account didn't do a lot of that. Here you can see here's one at the very bottom where it does that. And then also if there were any court fees, that would be displayed here as well. So again, this query I did doesn't have that many, but you can see for this complaint there was a $360 filing fee. Here's another one, and here's another one. So the nice thing about this report is you can download this to Excel and save it to your computer and do whatever you want with it. So you can download it here, you can filter it and sort it in whatever ways you want, and use it to reconcile filing fees, bill back filing fees to your clients, things of that nature. So this is available to you at any time for any date range. Let's see, so that covers reports. And I think there's a couple other reports here you can run. They're very similar. They all function in the same way, and you can download them all to Excel. We encourage you to just come in here and play with them. I think you'll find they can be very useful to you. So I have a couple questions. I believe that covers everything that I have on the agenda to cover, but I'm happy to hang out and answer additional questions. I have a couple here. If a filing is initially rejected and then you make your correction, will both the rejected document and the subsequently accepted document show? No, they will not. When you make your correction and submit the filing, only the accepted document will be in the system in green filing, and also on the court system, the accepted document is the document that will be filed and accepted on the docket. Other question, for billing purposes, can you generate a report and just show fees and court costs by clients? Yeah, there actually is another report here. This one here, reports, and then filing fees report. This is the same report, but it only pulls back filings that had court fees. So you can utilize that report to do that. Also, the client matter number report. This allows you to run a report, and it just groups everything by client, so it just puts everything together. Are there any other questions? I'm happy to hang out for a few more minutes and answer any additional questions. Let's see, looks like another question popped up here. Can support staff view documents filed on the case or just the attorney of record? Support staff can view documents on the case. It just requires that you have been authorized for that attorney to view and file documents. So as long as the attorney has on the Manage Users screen, so I'm Attorney George, and I've authorized Jane and George to e-file and view documents on my behalf. So as long as the attorney has done that, then you'll be able to view their cases and view documents on their cases. You'll also be able to receive email notifications about new filings. If you need help with this, feel free to contact us at support. We can help you get that set up. Can I answer any other questions? Feel free to ask more questions, but let me take the opportunity to just thank everybody for attending the session. Feel free to leave if you need to. I'll stay online and answer any questions for those that want to hang out. I'll give it a few more minutes, and then I'll just end the session. But feel free to contact us. support@greenfiling.com is the email. 801-448-7268 is our phone number. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to call. I have another question. For our first use, where do we go to sign in? You're just going to go to the Green Filing homepage, so greenfiling.com, and then on the upper right there's a link that says log in. So you just click that link, and that'll take you to the login screen. I'm already logged in, so it's just going to take me right there, but let me log out and show you what that looks like. So, whoops, greenfiling.com, click on login, and that'll take you to the login screen. You might want to save the login screen as a bookmark or a favorite. That way it'll help you get to it quickly once you've been using the system a lot. When you sign up, there's also a link that comes to you in your email that automatically logs you in and verifies the account. So your first time using it, you might be using that link. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, I'm going to go ahead and end the session, and I thank you all very much for attending.